How do, everyone? How do? No respawns here. So, this is another mod review of Undernier's Abernathy farm overhaul. He was the mod developer who did the Sanctuary Hills overhaul, and I really liked that one. So I was like, right, I'm going to have a crafty gander at the Abernathy farm one, and then I'll probably move on to maybe a bit more of a mods relating to kind of mechanics, kind of new features rather than necessarily settlement overhauls. No, this one I actually prefer to the Sanctuary Hills overhaul one because this really, it's the kind of thing I would make, I like to think, had I have the tools available to me. If you look here now with all of these pools, this is probably one of my favourite areas I've seen someone design. In the fact that it's a little bit more subtle. Now, there are a few kind of maybe ostentatious parts in terms of the towers that I could potentially, would argue, you'd maybe lower them down, or you just kind of take some of the shit off. However, they still look pretty good, and just the detail. This part here, I absolutely love it. You know, probably those of you watching my recent building videos know that I've kind of got a weird fetish for ramps. I don't know why I have a weird fetish for ramps, but I like making ramps. They're great fun. Yeah, plywood, ooh, concrete, ooh, get in. And anyway, like the effort that's been, sorry about that, the efforts that's been put into this kind of bog area, I guess, obviously the tar berries there, and those over there are actually razor grain. It just looks so good, and like obviously using, for example, the sandbags to create an edge of the pool there. It's, I do like this. I was squeeing with glee when I was walking around it. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. This was, I think this one came before in terms of, because I remember seeing this one for quite a while. I just never got around to downloading it. I think this one is quite one of the earlier mods that came onto the Bethesda mod store, but I just had never a chance to look over it. So you've got these towers here. I quite like this one, as well as, again, they seem to have followed the same kind of style, I guess, as the Sanctuary Overhaul one, with obviously using these kind of metal staircases and kind of keeping their towers quite utilitarian. I think it really suits for this one quite a bit. There is, they're still doing, which I actually quite like, but with the guard posts here, obviously Undernier has kind of squished them into the ground again, which I think works. And that stag thing is floating. Did you see it? It was just kind of surfing around. But I quite like this. There are also two elevators on this map. Now, there is a thing, we'll get to a bit later, further down, but what they've got it done, for some reason, so near the house, there are two kind of random, I'll show you them when we get to them, but they're weird. Also look at that view. See, we're at the top there, they've got these random, like, I guess the idea is to kind of give you more places to build on, but it just looks a little bit weird, so I'd maybe recommend taking those off as well. But other than that, look at this, this is why this again. I really liked it, and I want to do something like this, potentially for Spectacle Island. Obviously, I can't do it with the pools, but I can still do kind of this, kind of making your own little farm area by basically just building loads of ramps and staircases around kind of uneven ground. So they haven't done really much. I mean, obviously, as you see, they've surrounded it with a fence, and they've put, obviously, this little thing here for dumping water into the, they've actually got a pump over there and everything, but they've kind of kept this, like, this area is recognisable, and obviously they've left the bottom level of the house completely the same. They've added these side pieces on, which I quite like. Obviously, this is the place, as I said, with the water purifier pump thing that actually kind of irrigates the crops. This is I really like this. Now, this is the pointless elevator. It's not pointless, and I see the point to why there is this area up here. Also, I'm really terrified of height, and this place makes me nervous. So you go up here like this, but they do look a little bit weird. I would maybe, I know, it almost felt like these parts. This is like the only part I would say looks a little bit out of place, because it does look like these were put on, and then for some kind of construction reason, and then they forgot to take them off. But I think the point is so you, the player, can maybe kind of build small little houses up here, because obviously they're just kind of prefabs, but they look a little weird. I would maybe, possibly to make them look a little bit less out of place, maybe put some supports underneath or something to kind of make them look a little bit less precarious. Maybe it's just me suffering from severe vertigo. Oh god, I do. I'm watching the recording back now, and I'm still getting Ugh. So this building here, like, I actually built this ages ago, because this is my main save. So that is not actually there in the mod, sorry. It's just me fiddling around with barns. Sorry. I have to do without my mediocre test barn that I built, like, literally 6 months ago. Or something stupid like that. So you can see they've done quite a bit to actually extend up Abernathy Farm itself. Also, I like this place, little kind of grain silo thing as well. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, it is good. Imagine keeping a few Brahmin in here as well. Maybe. Maybe. Also, there's Hancock hanging out over there. Did you notice him? So, yeah, I think this one they've tried to... Because obviously this came before the Sanctuary Hills one. So it seems to be that they've maybe tried... The Undernier, the mod dev, has tried to be a bit more subtle with this one. And then kind of maybe went a little bit all out with the Sanctuary Hills. And I like this one just because it's very subtle. The kind of thing that I would like to make. Obviously, I'd probably make a little bit more scrappier. A bit more wrecked cars, that kind of shit. But it is a cool, and there's loads of space as well. And I only saw one graphical glitch. If you know, for example, if you ignore obviously the what do we call it? The guard post sunk into the ground, which I don't think are a graphical glitch. They're just, you know, clipping. It's just allowable. There is literally one floor which I think is on the tower right at the top that has a little bit of a flickering texture, but nothing a rug cannot solve. So as you can see, there's loads of space in here. I would argue, I think if I were to make changes to this build myself, I would maybe leave out this area here completely. Like, just, I wouldn't even bother. It's not that it looks bad, it's just that I think I have kind of more inclined towards kind of smaller, realistic builds. And I think this is where it gets a little bit... It still looks good, but it still feels a little bit over the top. Like, I can't see the devs doing this. Basically, I can see that pool literally looks like something they've taken out of the main game. But, like, this part here, maybe not so much, but it does look good. If those of you want something that's a grand, literally grand in terms of size, structure, this is definitely something that I think fits very well. It's just, I like my things a little bit more condensed. I also really like those little pipe fireplaces things. I'm going to try and recreate them. Mod dev seems to just like having them in their builds, and they just really work. Oh, look at that view. See? Look at that. See, that's what I mean about set pieces. Remember, David keeps hammering on about those set pieces. That is a set piece. It draws the eye, and it's just... Oh, in essence, that whole little kind of farming pool, swampy area thing is its own building. So this is the elevator that actually goes to a place it's meant to. Also, kudos on the stand. Really like the crates. Looks really good. There's more areas up here. I think my problem a little bit, maybe, with this upstairs structure in terms of in its context with an Abernathy farm, is it's a little bit too big for the settlement. Like, if there were more houses, like maybe if it was... Also, I can't actually physically walk through that. Fuck you and your dead end. But if it had, like, more structures, I guess, obviously you could build them yourselves. I think the build area is pretty large. But, like, right now, it kind of seems like that's a way too big a house. Like, everything else looks like the Abernathys could make it and would make it for them. Like, you know, the pool, even the tower to some extent, though I'd maybe make it smaller. But, yeah, look how ridiculous that looks. But obviously, if you build on them, they look a bit, you know, a wee bit different. This is the top here. I do like this, though. The view is fantastic. There's the one texture glitch that I found. Those of you who don't know, I think Abernathy actually has the highest build area in the entire game. It's definitely higher than somewhere like Spectacle Island, for example, because I remember building my really shitty lighthouse back in, like, December, and it not really working so well. There's an under area here as well. Obviously, you wouldn't... I mean, you would be able to have settlers up here, but they'd obviously kind of spawn up here, but they can't actually use the lifts themselves. Oh, God, that height. I'm really terrified of heights. I'm not... I mentioned this before, yeah, but I'm not terrified of heights per se, as opposed to just scared of jumping. You know, I'm one of those weirdly... I think there's someone mentioned a name for it. But basically, I have that thing where I want to jump. It's not suicidal tendencies. I'm actually quite I am in good frame of mind right now. Don't worry if I throw myself off London Bridge. Someone's tried to kill me. Anyway, basically looks pretty good. Also, in a minute I get stuck and I forgot my way down. So ignore my panic. I forget where the stairs are in a minute. Not there. Don't worry. Just thought I'd let you know. Spoil it, basically. Yeah. Looks pretty cool. There's loads of space. Oh, I do like the fact that they... This is where it is. Oh, yeah, I freak out. Where's the stairs? I can't see the stairs, even though they're right in front of you, you dick. Sorry. But yeah. I think I like the fact as well that they've kind of limited themselves to the building materials that the Abernathys have used as well. So just kind of the whole thing just blends quite well. I mean, I could, for example, add a bit more kind of life and colour through scrapped cars and things like that. Watch this, by the way. I back up thinking I'm going to give you a nice little tour. And there's a fence behind me because the entrance is over there. What a knob. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this. Definitely test this one out, actually. This is one I would be tempted to use myself if I didn't want to make Abernathy Farm and make it myself and make something cool. Anyway, as always, follow me on Twitter at norespawns. I'll have another Conan Exiles and a Fallout video up soon. Until then, you lovely people, enjoy your weekend? It's Friday. Yeah, enjoy your weekend. Take care.